Please get off the phone. Phone off, I'm ready.
I know he ready. I'm making sure my phone's on silent.
Oh, okay.
So they won't make a noise. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here today with a young man who I absolutely love, absolutely respect. He's someone who I met in February of this past year. It was a Saturday night, February the 18th, the night of the rebirth of Carter Ball here in Washington, D.C. And as I made my way to the head table, I saw this face. And he said to me, and I mean, I'm not quoting you, but I remember you you held up this magazine, this one in particular, and you said, aren't you featured?
I said, you're featured in my magazine.
And I said, am I? And then you turned to the page, and this feature here, he called it the DBQ Loud List. DBQ stands for
David Bridgeforth Quarterly.
David Bridgeforth Quarterly. Ladies and gentlemen, David Bridgeforth. This young man really has exceeded beyond standards, exceeded beyond expectations for someone his age. You know, in our community specifically, a lot of young men, and David's only 24 years old, right? Many young men who aspire, you know, for certain levels of notoriety, certain levels of popularity, do so the wrong way. You know, do so by showing up and being a regular at the clubs every week. They do so by, you know, posting half-naked pictures online. But this one here...
Becoming a porn star.
Yeah, basically. And this one here, ladies and gentlemen, he took a different route. He took a different route. He started a company. You know, he developed a brand, DBQ. He featured me alongside some of my contemporaries, and I'm so proud to share this moment and to share him with you, because not only is he gorgeous to look at, but he also has a lot to say, and I can relate to him on so many levels. So, David Bridgeforth, how did you manage to get to this point in your life, 24 years old? How have you accomplished so much, or what appears to be so much, at such an early point in your life?
And people don't understand that actually this year, I'll be 25,
Okay.
marks 10 years of my career.
10 years.
I started speaking professionally on tour when I was 15 years old.
In Indianapolis, where you're from?
Yes, with Les Brown and Stedman Graham. I went on tour when I was 15. I just turned 16. Well, I was about to turn 16. And went on tour with him and traveled nationally. And I did that 16, 17, 18, all through high school. And then I came out when I was 19. And then I said... When you
say you came out as in...
Came out as gay.
Okay.
I was 19. I said, I'm gay, y'all.
Okay.
And felt that in the gay community in Indianapolis particularly, there was very few people who seemed like had a brain doing anything meaningful. So I said, let me contribute positive. I said, let me contribute my gifts, talents, and abilities. And so during the Black Pride in Indianapolis, Indiana, and started doing work in the gay community, and started throwing events and parties. And then probably like 20
in Indianapolis
only.
Okay.
So the parties were really popular. People from Chicago were coming, and Ohio and Kentucky, different cities and states were coming to Indianapolis parties around because they were really interesting. And our Pride show, our Pride was coming up on the ranks in Prides because I was creating the stage show every year. And so then I started writing reviews of drag shows and pageants and balls. And I was just talking about what I love. I didn't talk about what I didn't like. I didn't throw no shade at nobody.
It was basically, it was a positive platform.
About what I wanted. Yeah.
Okay.
What I loved. and a mentor.
And you love drag shows?
I love drag shows.
Okay.
I'm a critiquer
okay.
of drag shows. I want to make sure they paint it the right color. And
when I met this young man, he was actually reviewing My Godmother's Ball, The Rebirth of Carter Ball. Miss Ayanna Christian.
Who is probably one of the most brilliant people in the ballroom scene I've met. Yeah.
Beautiful and brilliant.
Yes, and brilliant.
Yes,
and meaningful.
Yes, yes.
Dr.
Ayanna Christian, ladies and gentlemen.
A fan and a friend of mine. And so those reviews were really popular. Thousands of people were reading them online.
What was your platform at that time? Like, I know for many people, many of us started off like with Blogspot, which is another online network like a Facebook or Twitter or Tumblr. So we would post our articles on Blogspot before we had .coms. Like, what was your platform?
I had DavidBridgeforth.com.
So you had a .com.
I had that since I was
since 15 years old.
I had a website. I had speaking. So I just posted them when I came out. It kind of went a little gay. Okay. So I was posting those, and I had Facebook. I had a big Facebook following. Okay. So I was doing that, and I had all these likes. And so someone said to me, my friend of mine, mentor, father of mine, Stanley Bennett Clay, who at one time owned the
What's his name?
Stanley Bennett Clay.
Okay.
Who at one time, he's 65, 60-something, at one time owned the largest black gay magazine in the country about 30 years ago.
Which was called?
SBC Magazine.
Okay.
He said to me, son, you should think about doing a magazine for Indianapolis, because there's no magazine for people of color. And I was like, I don't want
People of color or gay men of color?
There's no magazine for gay people.
Okay.
There's a gay newspaper for white folk, but there's nothing gay for black people or people of color. And I was like, I don't really want to do that. I really because television and speaking have been my passions. You know, I was on TV in Indianapolis on public television. So
you had your own show?
I had a talk show, yes.
Ah.
High school, all through high school.
But see, this is what I'm trying to get at. Like, you know, during doing all of this, like having your .com, having the opportunity to review drag shows, doing the television spots. How did that all come to be? Because I think there are a lot of people that, there are a lot of things they want to do. They want to share themselves with the world. They want to put their voices out there, but they don't know how to get to that point. How did you do that at 15, 16, 17 years old? Like,
well, the speaking stuff, because I just was running my mouth. I was talking about what I loved. I didn't care who heard me or not. I was saying what I had to say.
So you always just spoke out.
Yeah, that was the space that I stayed in, so I attracted opportunities to me because of the courage. I believe that the opportunities you have in life are to the same proportion of the courage that you choose to live your life in. So if you live your life in a courageous way, the opportunities show up for you. So I don't know how I met Les Brown at 15. Who was married to Gladys Knight at the time. I don't know who, I don't know.
It was about you putting yourself out into the world, just doing what felt natural to you.
Yes.
Speaking, the writing, the posting, and from there, opportunities came to you.
Yes. Because on tour, when I was traveling, like when I met when I met Maya Angelou the first time, I got to interview her. I don't know how that happened. Well, actually I do, but I don't really know how. I was 21 when I met Maya Angelou.
Now at that time,
I was out.
This is way before DBQ launched.
Way before DBQ.
Okay.
DBQ launched a year ago.
DBQ is only a year old.
Only a year old.
So summer 2011?
Yes.
Ah.
We started with 1,000 readers in one city. Now we're in 50 cities in 29 states with 22,000 readers.
So you used your Facebook and my following and your Twitter following.
And I didn't have a Twitter then, but really, yeah.
To promote the magazine, or did you already have that following before?
I had some people I had Indianapolis, Chicago people on my Facebook.
It was very local.
Very local.
That's how I started out. It was just Baltimore and DC on MySpace.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, on MySpace.
That's all I had was DC and Baltimore on MySpace.
And printed these, and people would take them, and then, we went to Chicago's Pride, and then passed out, and so it just grew. And so when we went to Atlanta Pride last year, with just this issue here,
this is the first
issue,
is your launch
which
issue?
Was awful, and nothing good in here. I interviewed Pony Zion and Ty Rudolph, and I didn't know.
Pony is a good friend of yours.
Yes, very good friend of mine.
I see you two in pictures and things together. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, Pony Zion, he's a major star in the ballroom community. He then his dance troupe, Vogue Evolution.
He was on America's Best Dance Crew.
Yes. Yeah. Very attractive young man, very talented young man, well spoken. And I see you two photographed quite often. Do you find that a lot of guys try to gravitate towards you because you are now David Bridgeforth? Like, do you find that oftentimes people try to force relationships with you because of what you've achieved? And how, well...
Yeah, well, I think ever since I came out, I've always had like a little line ever since I came out.
Okay.
I think anybody who's attractive has a line.
Yeah.
You're a new face, you have a line.
Right.
I've always had a line.
Okay.
What I was told before the magazine came out, Stanley Bennett Clay called me and said, now son, when this magazine comes out, they're going to be throwing you all kind of ass to get in your magazine. Do not sleep with anybody you put in your magazine. So I had a heads up.
So he's a mentor to you.
Oh, he's my father. Yeah. I have two gay fathers. Stanley Bennett Clay, who is a famous writer, playwright, and actor. He's 60-something. And then Reggie Wells, who's Oprah Winfrey's makeup artist. Who's actually the reason why my magazine looks better cover-wise, because he does Oprah magazine covers and does Oprah's makeup and has for 25 years.
Do you find that having a mentor in this community specifically makes it easier for you to not go down the roads of destruction?
A mentor that doesn't want to sleep with you.
Yes, God. Because a lot of people, and you do find that a lot of older men, you know, will gravitate towards these younger boys and want to play that role as father, but more so wanting to
half of them.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what bothered me, and I did a story on this maybe last year about fathers who are only 5 years older than their
sons.
Yeah, and what the hell you done did, and problems with picking fathers and mentors who haven't achieved anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, haven't achieved anything.
But your mentors chose you.
In a way.
In a way.
Because I met Stanley Bennett Clay when I was 17, 18, something like that, in Chicago.
Okay.
And I met Reggie. Well, Reggie Wells called me after the first issue came out and called and said, "Can I speak to the fag on the cover of this magazine?"
Wow.
I said, "Excuse me, can I speak to the queen that's painted the wrong color on the cover of this magazine that I got here?" And he got my magazine in Chicago. And said I was painted the wrong color and wanted to help me out.
So it was basically, like you said, by putting yourself out into the world, you opened opportunities for people to gravitate towards you. You didn't have to take off your clothes or sleep around in D.C. or Indianapolis or Chicago, anywhere else, for people to know and discover you. You're more known for your work.
Yeah. Which is important.
Than anything more. Now that you're here in D.C., I mean, what are the differences, I guess, do you see that there's a huge difference socially between where you're from and being here in this, you know, major area that's notorious for the gay black scene?
D.C. is... Actually, D.C., this experience, I've been here since January. Vicious. There's some vicious queens. Vicious queens in D.C. I've never experienced anything, and I've been in different cities. I've traveled everywhere, but D.C. is very different because you have a lot of attractive... some educated black gay men.
Yeah.
But there's some vicious. So I mean, it's weird. It's different for me. A different experience for me.
When you came here, because I know you have a relationship with both your mother and father. You know, you grew up with your mother and father in your life.
For the most part.
For the most part, you did. You know, do you come from a family where both of them are extremely supportive of what you do? Not just of your magazine, but of who you are completely as a writer, as a businessman, as an out and proud gay man. I mean, do you have that type of family support?
I do. Everyone in my family knows who I am, what I do. They celebrate and respect and love it. It took some people a little time. But the thing is, before I came out, I wrote letters to everybody because I didn't want to have conversations.
Oh, I did something very similar. I did emails.
Yeah, 25 letters sent out because I didn't want to have conversation with people. And the thing is, before I even came out to my family, I had to realize that if I didn't have myself, I had nothing. So I was prepared. If my mom, my dad, and my grandparents didn't like me, I was prepared not to have them in my life.
And you would still survive.
Yes, I had that mindset.
Mine was I was in a relationship, so I felt like I had my boyfriend. So that's what gave me a lot of my confidence too, and I knew I had my friends. And I find that though, because I know you mentioned to me off camera that your father had a time dealing with it.
He was a homophobe. He did not like most gay father and fathers who have gay sons.
Right.
He very diverse, very educated, very open person. Did not like gay people. When I came out, he texted me, "Live your fucking life, son. I'm so proud of you."